Hello again, everybody. I'm doing a quick demonstration for YouTube on a project that I completed a few months ago. It's a lightweight musician's road case. We have a son who's a local musician here in Orlando, and he and his band got to the point where they were doing quite a bit of local gigging, local shows, and they needed something better than a bunch of 5-gallon buckets to carry their stuff in. I actually made 2 of these for my son, and the band uses them quite a bit. As we started looking around to research road cases and how we would be able to provide him one, we found that the actual ATA flight cases were much too expensive and frankly overbuilt for what we needed. And so we thought we'd build our own and see if we could save a buck as usual. So to emphasize again, we're not trying to do a flight-rated road case or musician storage case here. What we're trying to do is more of a pickup truck rated road case. And so far they've been in service for about a year. I just finished doing a little bit of work on this one, but they all seem to be working very, very well, holding up to the local load in and load out stuff. So I'm going to start with kind of a quick spin around and have a look at it. The case is roughly 20 by 20 by 30. These are chest handles. We'll get a better look at some of this stuff. The most expensive things were actually, these are genuine serviceable road case components, hardware components. The construction in general though is 1/4-inch plywood case sides, 1/2-inch banding. I'll talk about that construction a little more in a minute, but it's top and bottom banding. And it's pretty straightforward. We'll look at it a little bit more closely. One of the things I want to show though towards the beginning here is how we handled casters and the caster boards. These casters and caster boards take a real beating during load in and load out at local shows. These are not expensive casters. These are, you know, a Harbor Freight Tools item. But the caster boards themselves are very thick. They're 3/4 inch on the bottom and with a 1/2-inch plywood top. That whole assembly is glued, and then it transfers the weight to the extreme outside of the case, which is very important. Because of the way they're installed here, they're very easily removable. In fact, I had to make a repair on this, is why I'm doing the video. They tried to take it over a curb, and young men are a little bit violent with stuff, and so they actually yanked out one of the casters. So, but these are generally very serviceable. You just got to make sure that you're keeping your load to the outside and not on just like the bottom of the case. And this makes them removable and very easily handled if you do need to make a repair. A few screws, but not that big a deal. And these are not really super high-end urethane casters. They're simple rubber casters that I got from Harbor Freight for about $5 a piece. Remember though that the bigger your caster diameter, the easier it is to move over obstacles. So if you kind of go real low at 2-inch casters, you're going to have problems. These are 3.5s, and I think the other one I put 4 inches on. 4 inches seems to be an industry standard from what I've seen. Another thing that I'll point out on hardware, since we're standing here, is that these are simple chest handles from Home Depot. I could have bought the recessed ones that are actual road case where you carve this portion out and recess them in. With this style of construction though, the 1/2-inch overlaying the 1/4-inch kind of makes a rub rail. And so these things are effectively recessed across the whole panel. The other thing is that this is just a 1/4 inch, and so you'll see inside I've backed it with a 1/2-inch piece to make sure that these have a real strong surface for being affixed. But again, this is really just a savings as far as I'm concerned, and it was sort of necessitated by using a 1/4-inch panel here. They've worked out very, very well, and those are very inexpensive, you know, a few bucks a piece. These corners are actually pretty inexpensive. They do a great job of preventing dings to the side. And so let's kind of get into the construction a little bit. I'm going to put it down again here. As I said, let me get this focused a little bit better. The case construction starts out with a real simple 1/4 inch box, and it's literally nothing but a box. These panels are very, very thin. It's just 4 pieces put together and held temporarily with air nails and glue, and then they're battened a little bit inside. This is not the structure of the case. The real structure comes, and this is a technique I learned a long time ago building toolboxes and chests and etc. The real structure and strength comes from these 1/2 inch bands that are put around at bottom and top. They're rabbeted together in the corners, a rabbet joint, R-A-B-B-E-T-T, I think, if you want to look it up. And the way they are nailed and glued together, it forms bands around the actual 1/4 inch case. This is not really strong. This is very, very strong. That also keeps it extremely lightweight. I'm just sitting here on a chair, and it's not loaded, but I can pick that thing up with one hand with no problem. Whereas a real ATA flight case is going to be 1/2 inch panels all the way around. It's a lot of times it's laminated plywood all the way around, and it can get very, very heavy. And we're trying to just keep this lightweight, and like I said, a local transport. So all the hardware was purchased from a place called ReliableHardware.com, and they have great instruction too, by the way, if you want to actually build yourself a rated case. Here's our interior on the system. If you kind of take a look at, again, how this works, it gives you a great viewpoint here. Let me make sure that I've got that in frame. Yeah, pretty well. It gives you a great viewpoint here of here's the basic case, and then here's a lip formed out of this first band of 1/2 inch plywood, and then the lid is another band of 1/2 inch plywood. And so this forms this nice little lip. You get a great fit here. I've then added some 1/2 inch battens to the lid, which again is just 1/4 inch. What that serves for, and you can see where the screws are through into those battens, what that serves for is he likes to put an amp on top. And so it helps elevate, he just prefers that when he's playing a single amp. It elevates it, it makes it a little easier for him to monitor his sound, etc. And so we want to make sure that we had a way that this would be certainly some level of weight bearing, even though don't sit on it. It's not designed for that. It is definitely, though, designed to be able to handle, 50, 60 pounds. So on the interior here, and this is the one again, that I just recently fixed up, we've added a nice kind of a sliding drawer here. It's just 1/2 inch plywood, rabbeted like the rest of it, and flat bottom nailed straight to it, and again that 1/4 inch material. And the idea being then, we've got it on these sliders here. I do want to point out, if I can, I want to make sure again it's in frame, because this is just kind of a little important construction point. If you look to the side of the case, zoom on it. If you look on the inside of the case there, that's Murphy, our assistant. You can see the reinforcing piece of 1/2 inch that is where those chest handles are through bolted, here, 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 and here. And so it's 1/4 inch and then 1/2 inch to the inside, and that allows a great deal of strength when you're picking it up. And then of course, what do you believe it, Murphy? Yeah. Awesome. And then these are just the little runners that our sliding door sits on. It's got dividers in here that are movable in various ways. You can, we just made it to where it's got a good deal a good deal of flexibility for whatever a musician might want to do. If you buy parts online for a project like this, you'll find that, you know, everybody wants to use foam in the bottom, and it's no different with us. We wanted to get, you know, that nice carpet or foam padding. I'm going to pull this back out. There we go. That carpet or foam padding is kind of important. This you can customize any way you want to, but that foam is very expensive, and if you buy it online. I'm kind of a Harbor Freight guy, and so I like finding stuff there. I found foam, like matting flooring, that comes in 4 pieces that interlock at Harbor Freight for like $7 for 4 pieces for like, I think it's 16 square feet. And you just cut it with a utility knife and put it in. So that gray that you see here is a nice 1/2 inch foam padded bottom. And it works absolutely beautifully. Now, in the other one, which we outfitted for some specific stuff, for some specific equipment, we put foam on the sides, we put foam, some foam stripes, you know, here and there, in order just to make sure that what we were putting in, or what he anticipated carrying around, would be protected. So when you then you install your sliding drawer here, you've got access to whatever you got over there, whatever you got over here. Here's another little, just kind of a thing that we thought might be a neat idea. Let's see if I've got these in frame so I can demo. Yeah, it looks good. These items here are just little loops that are Velcroed. I mean, you can figure out how to do it. What we did is we put in a little grommet here, and then this is a Velcro, or this is a piece of nylon webbing that has Velcro on it. So the idea being that, here, I didn't bring the cable, but let me show you with my bracelet here. Let's say you wrap up a cord or a cable or an extension cord, and if you're a musician, you know you're carrying tons of that stuff, and it's really hard to find out, you know, to find it and keep it organized. But anyway, so you take your cable loop here, and you put it here, and they'll overlap as you have them all lined up, and it works beautifully for just organizing everything on that side. And this entire piece of little strip of plywood that has all those, I guess, 6 loops on it, is removable in and of itself. You can put it wherever you want just using sticky back Velcro. And so typically what we find him doing is, after the gig, he's just winding everything up and pitching it in here. But before the gig, he gets very organized, and, you know, they're very cautious and careful about what they're doing. And so you put all your stuff in here, put all your stuff in here, wrap it up, and go. We're a little redundant here on one feature. You know, these, just more of this webbing to hold the lid open. It's redundant because these are actually stopping hinges here. When you open a, let's see if I can get a hold of it here. When you open here, these have stops. And so that was just a redundant piece of a safety piece, belts and suspenders type idea, to put the webbing stops in the front. So that's really about it. I'm looking forward to everybody's comment on it. We thought they came out great. They work well. Again, that reliablehardware.com is a great place for hardware. Other than that, it's a lot of just basic ingenuity and some engineering and a fun project. By the way, a lot of these get laminated with mica. That to me is too expensive, so I use Rust-Oleum, and Rust-Oleum is a really good product, and I'll roll it on to finish them, and then I'll spray paint to make them look a little bit better, a little sanding in between, and they look fine. And if they get a little damage, which they do, you put an amp on top, or, you know, it's a road case. If something gets damaged, you just repaint it, and it's not that big a deal. Remember that these aren't designed to look pretty forever. What they're designed to do is protect what's inside. Make you a little more mobile, make you a little more professional when you walk into a gig. They've worked out great so far for that. So Hope this is helpful. I'm looking forward to everybody's feedback, and I'll see you next time with another project. Thanks.